Hi, welcome to the mini mystery quilt with GourmetQuilter. This is part of our 2020 Tasty Treats series that we're doing this year through the website gourmetquilter.com, and this is the mini mystery quilt, and there's a 20-part mystery quilt that we're doing. There's information on the website, there's a pattern that you can purchase to download with all the information, with all the measurements, everything like that. I'm just here to show you how it's done. And so we are actually up to part 9 this time, and there's 20 parts altogether, so we're well into it now. We're doing really well. We've got a whole lot of evidence that we've labelled. Some of the evidence is already missing, some evidence we've already brought together with other evidence, and it has turned into some very interesting results. And so today, for part 9, we are also coming from up here. We had a C1, so I've gone ahead and I've got that down here just to show you how that works. So we're going to be using C1 in conjunction with, we're bringing it together with some of the A4 evidence. So we're going to go ahead, so the A4 evidence is cut into squares, and the C1, so this is a wider than average strip, and we're just going to use that as our length. So what we're after is some pieces like this, so we want that length. So rather than cut lots of narrow strips and have bits left at the end, I thought it was just easier to cut a strip that wide because we need most of the strip anyway. And so I like to use my board to help me line things up. So I've got that sitting nice and straight with a line on the board there, the cut edge. And then I'm just going to trim off, so my fabric is double, it's folded here. So we've got 2 layers of fabric, it's the full width of fabric this way. And because we need quite a few of these, I'm just going to trim off that little selvage at the end there so that I've got a nice cut edge. And then I can just come along from there, and we're wanting them cut 2 inches wide, so I'm just going to slide my ruler across, and every 2 inches, again using the board to help me measure with this, I can just cut. So I've got all these pieces already cut now, and I think that's really fun. So they're the right length, and now they're the right width as well. So I won't cut any more just now because I've actually gone ahead and made most of mine, but I just wanted to show you how that worked from a wider strip rather than cutting from narrow strips all the time. So that seemed like a great idea to me. So we'll pop that to one side, and as I said, we needed some squares cut from our A4 evidence pool. And so what we're going to do now is with each one of these, we need to pop the squares onto the corners because we're just wanting to have a nice little corner on there. So I've gone ahead and I've marked my diagonal line. We've done all this sort of thing before, and I've already stitched one end, but I thought I'd leave one end just to show you. And so I'm just going to place that on the opposite end. So we want these to go in opposite directions, the diagonals, so that we end up with the 2 corners coming off the same way like that. And then I'm just going to stitch on that diagonal line, and I've drawn the second line because I think it's just big enough for me to think I might use that as a little half square unit later. We don't need it for this project, however it's quite delicious, and it can go into the jar with the other pieces. So I'm going to trim between the 2 sewing lines now, and this one here I'll just show you is quite usable. It's small, but it may well be just what you need for that particular project. And I'll just trim this one off as well. Now they can go into my little jar of corners, and I'm just going to press this seam now towards the corner. So we need to do that to all the pieces. As I said, your notes will tell you how many you need and what exactly the sizes are. So we need to have a whole lot of those. As I said, I've already gone ahead and made most of mine here. So there's just a whole pile of them, and they're looking quite delicious. And then we're going to label those because we're in part 9. We've got 9A, and we just want to pop those together so that we don't lose them and that we know what they are, so that we can refer to them later on. So that was it for part 9 of our mystery. We are getting some very unusual things coming to light during this mystery, things that we perhaps had not anticipated. So I hope you're enjoying it, and I will see you again with part 10.